How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to be taking out our brand new character for the next half of the patch, which is going to be Jiaoqiu. Now, Jiaoqiu, of course, now that we are here, let me remind everyone that we are on the content creator experience server, so everything here may or may not change depending on live release. But with Jiaoqiu, we are going to turn Firefly's team into something even nastier. Of course, usually we would slot in someone like Gallagher, someone like a sustain, but in this video, we're just going to go all out damage with having Firefly on the team. Of course, with Ruame, one of her best in slot supports, with Harmony MC for the super break, and Jiaoqiu for the added benefit for the talent, which is going to give us 40% increased damage received. So this means the super break damage, the break damage, her own damage personally, it's all going to be increased by 40%, which is going to be absolutely amazing for her. And of course, this is not necessary, but it's going to be pretty cool to see, especially with how Firefly is able to implant fire with their technique. How we're able to get that started, of course, with Jiaoqiu having its own AoE as well. This is going to make for some really quick breaks and some really good damage as well on top of what he's able to do, plus of what Firefly is able to do as well. So let's go ahead and get straight into the showcase. Now that we are here in the MOC 12, we are going to go ahead and throw in all of our techniques. That way we can get all the buffs out. And I think this team has a crap ton of nice techniques to stack on top of each other to give everyone a crazy boost at the start. But let's go ahead and start with Jiaoqiu. Now, Jiaoqiu's skill is going to be inflicting Ashen Roast and also allowing us to get our ultimate frame 1, which is actually pretty big in my honest opinion. Not only does this allow for the toughness bar to be lowered by a good bit for Firefly in the future, but this is a really good way to start debuffing them and get those Ashen Roast stacks a little bit higher to get that damage received buff maxed out. Now, of course, we could have been showcasing off acheron with Jiaoqiu, but I feel like everyone is already basically going to post that for the most part. And not only that, I do feel like everyone knows that acheron is going to have that best in slot support with Jiaoqiu. I do plan most likely on testing out if Jiaoqiu actually beats out Pella, how it's going to work in regards to who allows acheron to do more damage, because of course Jiaoqiu allows for faster ults, but does that equate to easier damage? Does it equate to the investment that you're gonna have to make in regards to summoning on those stellar J's to be able to get Jiaoqiu? It's a lot of stuff that I do want to cover as time goes by, but we're gonna go ahead and use our skill with Firefly and use our skill with Harmony MC. That way we're able to get our ultimate off, and then we're gonna go ahead and pop Firefly's ultimate as well. And once we do so, we're gonna get a nasty pop off with not only, I think, all of the Ashen Roast stacks for the most part being almost filled out. It's around 35% extra damage. So we're gonna go ahead, skill, and we should do massive damage. Of course, we're lowering everyone out right now, and he's almost dead. This dude's almost dead. So now we're gonna do one more skill point. We should be fine. Look at that, perfect. We're already on the second wave. Holy crap. And then we're getting another skill with Firefly. Of course, this is E0. We're getting another skill with Firefly, and we're able to crack all 3 choir members immediately. Now, of course, this sequence of skills definitely took a toll on our skill points by a good bit. So now we're gonna have to go ahead and build them all up. Thankfully enough, all these characters are SP positive, so we really don't gotta worry that much in regards to the damage that we're doing. I'm wondering if I should use the skill here with Harmony MC just for the damage, but I do think Firefly should be able to take it by herself. So we're going to do a basic here, and we're going to do a skill with Firefly, most likely one-shotting them from here. Yup, look at that, 815k. That's, of course, including the Ashen Roast buff, but also looking at the buff coming out from them being broken as well. It sucks that Firefly got slept. That sucks a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna go ahead and skill with Jiaoqiu, skill with Ruame to get her buffs back up, and then we're gonna basic with Harmony MC because she doesn't really need to use her skill right now. Hopefully they hit Firefly, in which they did, but it didn't wake her up, which I hate it here. We could have been doing damage. We probably could have been close to one-shotting them if I didn't get slept, which sucks that ended up happening for the most part. Wow. We're gonna go ahead and do our skill again. It's gonna lower everybody's toughness by a good bit. Sadly, Firefly is not gonna be able to do much right now because we're not gonna have the opportunity to be able to. Dang, this sucks a lot for the most part. We don't have the opportunity to get her ult up unless she gets hit right now, which sucks a lot. Dang, that sucks. We're gonna go ahead and do our ultimate again, basic, and hopefully by next turn we should be able to get closer to Firefly actually pulling out her ult again and allowing us to do more damage. which I think we are gonna have that opportunity. Skill, I'm trying to figure out. Skill would put us to 2. Skill with Firefly, we should have enough. I hope so. That's gonna add Ashen Roast, the debuff on top. We're gonna go ahead and use the skill here. Sam is gonna go ahead and boost herself to the top, and then we should be able to finish off with the last skill, KOing them. Being a man, it was so close to being a 0 cycle, or it could have been a 0 cycle if I would have been able to keep Firefly awake and not get slept at the worst possible time for her to be slept. But I think that team, although super overkill, I do think this team is omega overkill, definitely shows that Jiaoqiu can be put in more than just one spot for Acheron. He can be a universal buffer, and I do want to showcase him off a little bit more when it comes to using out not only his 40% damage increase, which is a pretty big buff coming from his talent, which he's able to inflict through his ultimate, through his skill, and many other means. And this is a really nice debuff to add on to the enemy. Not only that, of course, from the ultimate also being able to inflict debuffs, this helps a lot with Acheron stacking, which I will be showcasing in another video, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But I also want to go ahead and try to show off Jiaoqiu in as many possible applications as possible when it comes to using this damage receive buff and the ultimate buff, because there's a lot of characters in the game right now that are able to take use of this, especially someone like Yun Li, where her ultimate follow-up is considered as ultimate damage. So Jiaoqiu could definitely be a pretty big pickup for Yun Li, for Acheron, and while we were showcasing this out today, for someone like Firefly as well, which she doesn't really need it, but for someone to be able to give a really nice universal debuff to a lot of the enemies, and also give some type of niche use or some situated use where Jiaoqiu shines a little bit more with giving that ultimate damage received, it's a pretty big deal when you have these 2 different multipliers on top, allowing him to do some absolutely insane damage. Overall, a really nice debuffer. I do plan on taking him into a lot more in regards to the different modes in the game: Apocalyptic Shadow, Pure Fiction, and a bunch of different teams. We did run him on Pioneer plus Messenger for the most part, with Pan Cosmic for the effect hit rate, for the attack percentage increase, and then of course having the messenger pieces to allow us to get that speed for Jiaoqiu. That way he could skill, he could basic as much as possible, and keep his uptime on his ultimate, because we all know that's very important to get those Ashen Roast stacks spread out. That way you're able to get the debuff from the enemy as well, kept on getting spread out, having it getting raised up, and allowing us to have that full nice 40% increased damage debuff on him, which I think is a really good thing for him. The one thing that is going to be a little bit upsetting, or something that is going to be a point of contention in the future, is that depending on how strong your team is, also depending on the toughness bar of a lot of these enemies, Jiaoqiu really wants enemies to take their action. This is something I'm going to point out again in the Acheron video in the future, but from testing I've done with not only Firefly but also with Acheron herself, you kind of break them a little faster than you want, and you want these enemies to take their actions. Not like when it's their turn, they do the Ashen Roast stack. No, they literally have to like punch you, do an ability or something to be able to proc that Ashen Roast stack. With that way, you're able to get the talent, or you're able to get the stacks off of Acheron, which makes for those really fast ultimates, which yes, you do get a lot of them when you have Jiaoqiu on the team. But the problem is, you could get more if it didn't enable them to have to hit you. I wish it would have been where if they took their turn, they would have been able to proc Ashen Roast. That way you're able to go ahead and give the stacks to Acheron, or whoever else in the game is probably going to use it in the future, which that would be a big buff to Jiaoqiu. I think Jiaoqiu is just a really good unit right now. He is a really nice universal unit, and someone I'm definitely going to be doing more showcases on. So other than that, that's going to be it for this video when it comes to showcasing out Jiaoqiu, with by far one of the strongest break teams in the game, and has made Firefly even more absurd than she had to be for the most part. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching out to the video. See y'all guys in the next one, and peace.